How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry, I'm like late. I had to restart. The sound wasn't working earlier, and I was like, "We're not gonna do this today. We're not gonna do this."
That's right. I'm sorry. I had to move my vacuum cleaner. I didn't realize it was like in the corner.
Oh, I didn't even see it.
I like looked and I was like, there's a vacuum there.
Get it out the way. That's how I am. I have to like make sure I don't have a whole bunch of stuff like this. I got to update this, but that's fine.
You should get like a picture that you can like just pull down over it, so you don't have to like erase your notes.
That's smart. I didn't think about that.
Is that board magnetic?
Yes.
I would get like a really nice magnetic picture that you can roll up when you're not using it. And then when you need it, you can just pop it in the 4 corners or the 6 corners and boom, covered, done.
Yes. I got an idea. Yes. Because in that way, I don't have to erase stuff.
And take a picture of your notes and then erase it. I had to do that once for a meeting. I had a client come in the office and I was like, I did not want them to see like my meeting notes from the day before, but I hadn't recorded them. So I just took a picture of my notes.
My only problem, I've done that before, but then I don't want to rewrite everything that I have just erased. That's the only problem. I don't want to.
Yes.
That's my issue.
Because that is really how it is. You're like, I am not finna sit here and now, do all this.
I got the picture now. I don't need to rewrite everything. That's how it is. Okay, so go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's just hilarious. It's like the things we do in business. It's just so funny, and we're just like, look, people don't even know the half.
No, but this magnetic picture, that's about to change the game. That's about to change the game because then I don't have to worry about anything at all. So thank you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, friend.
So we're gonna. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we're gonna get started. Was there something else you wanted to add in?
No, I'm trying to like. My computer has been wonky all day, and of course, it's like the day that we have this, right? And so, I was just trying to like put like the menu to the side and then put like the camera in line. But that's it. I'm good. I have my coffee, so I'm good.
Wait, you're drinking coffee this late?
Mm-hmm.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
If you have known how much running around I've been doing all day, and like in the past like 20 minutes, I like left the showing, dropped off my clients, flew home. This is currently my dinner, a bag of popcorn. Wow. And I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep. And then I got some coffee, and now I'm here. I made it.
Okay, so I get it because I haven't even had dinner, but I had kind of a late like lunch. So usually when I record, I don't eat dinner. Like I make dinner for Nia, and then I don't know. I'm like, I'm good. Yeah. We can just go to bed later. I'm good because I don't know. I don't feel like cooking. I just don't feel like doing all that. I just don't.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And my husband texted me. He was like, are you going to pack before your Zoom? Because I'm about to go out of town. And, and I was like, no, I haven't packed anything. I haven't done any laundry. Like, I'll get to it. Ross is open till 11 o'clock. Oh, and my suitcase broke. Yeah. So when I finish with you,
I gotta buy a suitcase.
I have to go buy a suitcase.
Are you leaving tomorrow? Don't tell me you're leaving tomorrow.
Yes, my flight is not. I actually changed my flight because my flight originally was this evening. And I was like, And my assistant was like, Victoria, you booked your flight the same night as your podcast recording. I was like, we should probably change that. I was like, can you change my flight?
Yeah, that I'm glad you did. Glad you did. But you need more time to prepare.
It's okay. I'll figure it out.
Like we
my crazy world.
Like we always do.
And then if you see me, I said if you see me looking crazy, that's why.
I mean, but you're about to go on vacation, so
Work trip.
Be relaxed.
I wish
it's
it was
a work
vacation.
trip. Oh,
yes.
I'm sorry then. Okay. Well, sorry.
It's okay.
So let's get into this episode. I'm excited. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Melanated Spark Podcast. So before we do an introduction, I want to do some icebreakers.
Okay.
No, you know what? No, we're going to do introduction first. Do your introduction first, so we know who we're talking to first. So Victoria, please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Well, my name is Victoria Bailey. I am a real estate agent here in the wonderful 757. And I absolutely love what I do. I pride myself on educating my clients through real estate, right? There's a lot of false information out there, or just, it's not a one size fits all. So that's who I am. I'm also a military spouse. So every 3 years, I have the wonderful joy of recreating my career, and finding the balance in it, honestly, like work-life balance between like being a spouse and being like a sister and auntie and a daughter and all those other great things in life. But that's me, that's who I am. And I'm very bubbly, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. We're going to talk a little bit more about like who you are, how you got to where you are today, the impact you're making in your community today. But we're going to rewind and go back to icebreakers.
Okay. I'm ready.
Warm up, relax a little bit, you know? So the first question, and this is like first thing that comes to mind. It doesn't have to be like a long drawn out deep answer, but it can be if you want it to be.
Okay.
What is one thing, especially because you're from here, what's one thing that you would like to change about Hampton Roads?
The tunnel system.
Okay.
When I tell you that came to my mind, like that, I've grown up. So I grew up in Hampton, went to Phoebus. I went to Norfolk State for a little bit. That tunnel, like living in Hampton and having to drive to, at the time I didn't stay on campus. So I had to drive to Norfolk State every day for school. And then I had to drive back to Hampton. I worked at PTC, and like just going back and forth. If you're trying to go through the tunnel, block off a good 45, maybe an hour, right? Yeah. And then it sucks because you'll either end up on that side crazy early or you'll be crazy late. And then right now they're doing construction. I just want people to know it's okay to continue to use your gas driving through the tunnel and not your brake. Because people be living on that brake.
But listen, so I used to live in Hampton too, and I worked on this side. And so I did that commute every day for like, I don't know, like 5 or 7 years I did that commute. Like it was ridiculous. But it never, like, everyone always breaks. It's so rare that the flow of traffic will continue. So absolutely. I don't even know how you fix that, honestly. I don't know.
I mean, they're trying to widen it now, and I'm just really, I don't know how this is going to work. And it's not just the HRBT. It's also on the Merrimack. Because if you go over there, when the shipyard gets out, you can cancel Christmas. I mean, that traffic is horrible. Yeah. Either way.
I would say any tunnel here is, there's always going to be traffic. Somebody's always going to run out of gas, even though they know they were going to go in the tunnel, right? They knew they were going to be in traffic, you know, rush hour time. You knew you didn't have gas, you know, but whatever. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Or a truck that doesn't fit in the tunnel and blocks it. Sir.
That I never understood. Right.
Like you didn't know how big your truck was? Like you completely blocked the entire tunnel. Okay.
Yeah. That is my fear though. That's so 2 fears that when I had to do that commute was I would like fall in the water. Like something crazy would happen. I would fall in the water. That's like always been a big fear. And then the other one is like, if you're behind a big truck that doesn't know how big it is, and now it like runs into the thing, and now you're like emergency braking, like that tunnel has created fears for me. Those like freak accidents where it's like, this shouldn't happen. I'm not putting it in the universe. Let me be clear. But
right.
Those are the things when it comes to that tunnel. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's insane.
Yes.
It's insane.
All right. Question 2.
Okay.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Ooh. Bubbly. Laugh a lot. And humble.
Okay. I like those. Okay. And the last one, I will have to give not really a disclaimer, but this last question, we have put it in our Facebook group for our Talk Tuesday this past week. And it just brought up a lot of good discussion. People just kind of sharing their answers and stuff. So I wanted to ask you, what is most important to your success? Your network, your skill set, or your work ethic?
I can only choose one.
It's up to you. I would say choose one, but I've heard such a good variety of answers. It's up to you.
So I would say for me, it's 50-50, right? It's definitely your network.
Okay.
Right? I would say 50% of it is your network. Because if you have a strong network and your network believes in you just as much as you believe in them, they're going to support you in your business, right? And then the other half of it is definitely your work ethic, right? Because if your network believes in you and your work ethic slacks, right, then they're going to stop believing in you. And they're going to be like, yeah, so-and-so does this, but so does this also does this person.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not going to have that exclusivity. Now, if you're in a period of transition, right, and you're transitioning. So right now I'm in the period of transition. I'm expanding my team, right? Because I'm only one person. And I can only do this so much. So I'm bringing on people to help me. So I'm kind of dialing back as many people that I'm taking on. But once I get everyone trained and systems and introduce them to the systems I have in place, I'll introduce them to my network. So therefore my network knows hey, Victoria has a strong team.
Yeah. And
not just her. And I think that's really important. And people need to understand that because, I can hang around, if you want to be successful in business, you have to also be around those people who are going to help pour into you just as much as you pour into others.
I agree.
There's times in business where I just I'll text someone that I know and I'm just hey, I need a good encouraging word. I need a scripture. I need something because right now this season, today is not working. Right. And when you have a strong network, those people will help push you through. Right. Yes. And when you have a strong work ethic, right, your network will see that and be yo, I don't know what she's doing, but she's out here, she's working it. Right. And she's making things happen and making sure everyone's taken care of. So I believe it's a 50-50 for me. Yeah.
I like. Okay. It did it. That question, I feel like it does really make you think, right? Because I think right now, as a lot of people are building and working towards success, we know how strong it is to know the right people to give us access, to give us exposure, to expand ourselves. But at the end of the day, like you said, you need to have that work ethic so that as you build your reputation, your network knows they can depend on you for XYZ. They know you're going to follow through. They know you're going to execute for whatever you're trying to do. So I agree with you. I think it's a good balance. Definitely good.
And you know what? And the one thing I'll definitely say is in this season, a lot of us are figuring things out, right? We are, as I'm growing my team, right? I'm seeing that, okay, well, the way I learned is the way that my team member is learning. So let me revisit this, or I can't take on as many clients right now because I need to make sure that I'm sharing my attention with someone who I'm bringing in to not, basically embody me within their own personality. So I think it's also really important that your network maybe notices that too.
Yeah.
Because they want just as much as you want them to be successful. A lot of people that I associate myself with and I hang around with, they're one person, but they have a strong team behind them, right? They have different admin people, right, working on their behalf. So when they're not there, the representation of them is still there when their clients come through the door. So I think that's really important. And then the new growth, just tell them, like, we can't do this alone. Like,
right.
we can't do this alone, and it's okay to ask for help.
So that's the season I'm in, is trying to figure out how to build my team and what exactly I need. Because I know the things that I'm trying to do, I don't want to do it by myself, but it's a matter of just making sure I have, like you said, you have the right people.
Yeah.
And that you're able to train them so that, everything is still balanced and successful. So how are you building your team right now? Like, what does that look like in terms of process for you?
Oh, okay. So that's a good one. I reached out to different agents, to different, we call them like mega agents in real estate, right?
Okay.
So I reached out to those people in my field and I said, hey, how did you build a strong team? Like, how did you build a strong enough team to where you can go on vacation or to where you can go out on a date night with your spouse? But it's still the vibe of you and the energy of you still is there. They helped me break it down. One of the first things they told me to do was to write down what are my personal weaknesses, right? Because I need to stick within my strengths, not my weaknesses. So I started outsourcing. So like, I was doing my own bookkeeping. I was doing my own like quarterly bookkeeping. I'm not an accountant.
Right.
That's not my field. Absolutely not. Right. That's just not what I do. So I was like, I have an accountant I see every year. Like, she knows who I am. I know her. And I was like, okay, why am I even doing this? What is really happening? And so I met with her and I said, look, this is where I'm failing at. This is what I need help with. And like, this isn't my thing. Like, me staying up until 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning, trying to run numbers. No, ma'am. Can you run my numbers and then let me know? Like, where are we at? Like, what's good? What can we work on? Where are we at? Are we spending too much money here? Are we spending too much money there? Like, are things not balanced? Let me know that. When it came to like, I'm not good at social media. Like, I am really good in person. I love talking to people. I feel like I can get it across. So I'm working on hiring someone for my social media. Like, that's just not a strength of mine. I can get on a camera and talk to I feel like sometimes my personality doesn't come across. So figuring out what your weaknesses are and then putting people in those places and then just working in your strengths, right? But also at the same time, have the vision for where you want your business to go, where you want your business to survive and to thrive in. So if that's your vision, that's your mission, this is what you're good at, these are the people you need to hire, let them go, hire those people over there. And like, so therefore you can enjoy what you do daily.
And if that makes sense. Yeah. And show up in, like you said, show up in your strength. So I like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So building the team out, working in your strengths, get contractors, delegate out.
Delegate it, girl. Delegate it.
I have never really liked delegating, but it's something that I know I have to do. But that's just an area that I have to continue to kind of practice and grow in.
Same here. It's hard. Like, you want to because you want to hold everything in. You want everything to be like here. You want it to be how you want it to be. Delegation for me was hard, but I can tell you when I sat down with my mentor, they were just like, this isn't what you do.
Yeah.
Like, you're really good at what you do. Do what you do really well. And then have people in those places. Know how to do those things, right? Like, which is good. But have people in those places that can do them for you. So therefore your time is being spent in the spaces or building the connections that you truly want to build, right? Like we met at brunch.
Yeah.
And I was just like I love brunch. I love a good cocktail. Like, that's just like where where I thrive. And I left there with a friend.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
First Bloody Mary. My first Bloody Mary, y'all.
Yes. So it's hard. It can be really hard, delegation, but also at the same time, put people in places that you can truly trust. And it's okay to put someone on a 90-day review. Like that was one thing I like me and myself. I was like, oh my gosh, no, like I don't want them to think I don't like them. And I had to
It's
step
not
back.
personal. I had to get out of that. It's not personal.
Yes. I was like, this is not personal. This is business, baby.
Yeah.
So we're gonna review this in 90 days and see where you are.
Yeah.
And see if you work for me and if I work for you.
Yeah.
I give out personality tests. I give out the 16 personality tests and the DISC test to see if we're truly compatible.
That's one thing I have not heard anyone say, that they give potential like hires, especially, well, not, at least not in the entrepreneur space. I've never heard that. I know like your traditional like 9 to 5, I've heard that before.
Right.
But like entrepreneur space, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say they've given out personality tests, which makes so much sense.
I mean, like we have to be able to connect, right? Like, yes, is this business? But I also want to be able to laugh across the room. I want to be able to spit you a funny dad joke and like you not be offended, or like, we can like laugh across the room. Or if we go out to lunch, I want to be able to have like a conversation with the person that I'm sitting across from and that I'm working with. Also, at the same time, if you're talking to my clients, I want my clients to feel as comfortable with me as they are, with you as they are with me. So it's really, and then also at the same time, like I need you to pick up in my weak areas. So I don't need another DI on my team. I need a CS on my team. Someone that doesn't mind getting into the weeds. I'm like, this is the vision. This is where I want things. And I want you to put it together for me.
I was literally just saying this today, like with my traditional, because I work traditional job too, 9 to 5. It's like some things are so tedious. And I was talking to my coworker, that is a weakness that I am not trying to make a strength. And she was like, oh, you gotta, are you looking to like work on that to make it a strength? I said, no, that's not my strength. I know myself. That is not it. And she was like, oh, I know myself. It's not, no.
Yeah, it can be rough. It can be rough, but like once you figure it out and you find that balance, it's amazing. It's absolutely wonderful. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So that's something I think I need to add to my list of things to do right now, is to really kind of list out the other areas. So the book we're reading this month in book club is Everyone Should Be a Millionaire by Rachel Rogers, or I think, Everyone Should Be a Millionaire by Rachel Rogers. And it's such a good book. And she talks a lot about that and like delegating things out and making millionaire decisions, millionaire mindset. And a lot of the things that you discussed is a lot of the things that she talked about. So I would definitely recommend anyone to read that.
Yes. I love a good read. Yes.
And I'm actually reading it the second time to like get ready for book club this weekend. But she just goes through, and I like things where they just list it out. Like I don't need a whole bunch of fluff. Like just give it to me. Like give it to me.
Have you ever read Atomic Habits by James
Clear? No.
Girl.
I've heard of that book, but I have not read that yet. Okay.
So one of the things I love about his book is he talks about triggers. So it's like, let's say you have to get on a new routine. What is going to trigger you to remember that new part of your routine? Right. So, like I wear a night guard, right? And I like, when I got it, I was like, I'm never going to remember to put this thing on. And then I was thinking about the book, and he, like at night, like I brush and floss my teeth. Okay, so after I floss and brush, I put my night guard in, and then I go to bed. Right. And so what I realized is that if I was like super sleepy, let's say I fell asleep on the sofa and that's just where I was that night, guess what I didn't do? I didn't brush, I didn't floss, and I also didn't mount my night guard in, and I would feel it in my locked jaw. So it was one of the things that it was like, okay, this makes sense. Right. So when you do one thing, so like in the morning, I wake up, brush my teeth, I go downstairs, make my coffee, make my oatmeal. While all that's like brewing and stuff, I grab my Bible for my devotional, I put it on the table, I go back, I sit down, I read my Bible, do my devotional, and then I clean up and I'm upstairs getting ready for the day, and then I'm off the door. So it's just kind of like one of those things where, when you make things a habit, the small things you do daily will show their return in the long run.
Yes, I'm gonna have to read that book because I've heard of it. But I haven't actually picked it up yet. So, and I love planning, organizing, like goal setting, morning routine. Like I like all that stuff. So any type of additional information I can get for that, I would like for sure. So let's kind of get into like why you became a realtor. Let's talk about like how, like what motivated you to do that? Like, how did you get into, did you always want to be a realtor? Is there a difference between realtor and real estate agent? Let me be clear.
Yes, there is.
Please tell us the difference between that so I can say what you are correctly.
So a real estate agent is someone who is licensed by their state to perform in real estate, right? A realtor is someone who is a part of the National Association of Realtors, and we pay membership dues every year to be a part of this association. Also, at the same time, we have to take additional code of ethics classes to uphold that realtor standard. So, like, they sent me an email today saying, you have not completed your code of ethics yet. And I'm like, I have to go take this. It's like a 2-hour class. This is fine. But I was like, I need 2 hours to sit down and take this class.
Yeah.
Or else I'll lose my designation behind my name. So that's why sometimes you see real estate agents or realtors. And not every office makes you be a part of it. Every office is different. As I'm licensed in several states, some of my other states do require me to be a part of it and to hold it. But I just feel like, it holds me to a different standard. It holds me to another code of ethics to make sure that I provide the best for my clients. So yeah, that's the difference. I hope that made sense.
No, that did. That made perfect sense. And it's good to know because I don't think I'm the only person that did not know that.
It's okay. People always ask it. They're like, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Yep.
So how did you get into your field? How did you become a realtor, and like what motivated you to become a realtor?
So this is a good one. So I'm actually a second generation real estate agent. My dad is also a real estate agent as well, or a realtor, I should say. So as a kid, I've always been around real estate and all that, right? But then, it was something that I strayed away from for a really, really long time.
Okay.
And I just hit an issue, not an issue, but I just hit like a plateau in life where I didn't know what I wanted to do, right?
We've all been there.
I think every adult has been there. And I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I've gone to school. I graduated from college in business. And I still was like, a business degree can get you to do anything.
Yeah.
But also a business degree does not prepare you to work in business.
Right. I was going to ask you that too, before you continue. When you went to school, did you plan? I know you said you didn't know exactly what you wanted to do, but when you went to school, did you have an idea of like, okay, I'm gonna get this degree and then go work in corporate? Or did you have an idea in terms of that?
So I did. I always loved training development. Like I've always had the mindset that if you train someone to be successful in their field, they're gonna outsurpass you. Yeah. So I've always I loved training and creating programs, just making things easier. So I got my degree in business with a minor in training development. Like that's just in it. Like that's just what I like. And then I started looking into HR. So HR, you have to have you don't have to have these designations, right? But there's different designations you can get in the human resource field. So I was looking at those and I was just like, an additional 18 credits here and 12 credits here. I was like, I do not want to do this. Yeah. So this is at the same time my husband and I were transitioning from Germany back to the States. And I was trying to find an agent to help us find a rental back in Tennessee. We didn't want to buy. We weren't sure if we wanted to buy yet. And I was like, I just need an agent to help us find a rental. And I couldn't find anyone to help us find anything. And I was like, this is dumb. Right?
That's crazy.
So, luckily I had a friend there who I sent her some places and she went around to these places and like looked at them for me and video chatted me and helped me and my husband find something before we got back. So I'm so thankful and blessed for her.
Wow.
And then when we got to the States, I decided to start my real estate career in property management. I had the mindset that I knew I wanted to get in real estate, but I wanted to work backwards through.
Okay.
I didn't want to get my license and then just get into it. I wanted to know what are the ins and outs of it, right? Like what are people looking for, starting at the very lowest level. So I started as a receptionist at a property management office. I did that, very much learned about property management, leases, management agreements, maintenance,
All of
just like
it.
all these crazy things. Like
Yeah.
I had no idea there was a tenant landlord act until I got into like property management. And
Yeah.
this is huge act. Every state has it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is mind blowing. Like people have all these issues. Do they realize like this is even here? Right.
Yeah.
And so I worked backwards through it. So I was there for about a year, and then I got my real estate license and I transferred into full-time real estate, helping people sell and buy their houses. But then as I got there, I realized that people were not educated, and agents were just like, sign here, sign this, sign that, sign this. And I
Yeah.
was just like, I'm not going to sign anything. I don't know what I'm signing.
Right.
I've been burned like that before. So me, I'm like, let me get my glasses out and I'm reading every line. But also at the same time, it would be like, I get like through paragraph 2 and I'm like, I don't even know what this means anyway. Let me just sign it and keep on going. Right.
Yeah.
So
It's so much. It's so much.
it's
So
so
much.
much. So that's how I got like my motto of educating you through the journey, is because when I tell you I read the 15-page standard purchase sales contract in Virginia, I read it from front to back. Like I know what it says on what page. I know like where the information is. You know, I go to the training classes at my office. I take in that information, because the better I train myself and my team, the better I can help you. So that's kind of like my mentality around it, and like how I got started and what motivated me through it. And even still now, like with technology and stuff like that, there's a lot of false information. I call it like Facebook University and Google
Oh,
University.
Lord, yes.
Because there's a lot out there that's really, really good, but then there's a lot out there that's really, really bad. Right. And sometimes trying to come over that. So that's kind of like how I got to where I am.
Got started. So you mentioned, because there is so much information, what are some of, I guess, the mishaps? Like if you had like a top 5, like misinformation that's kind of out there.
Oh, the
'Cause there's a
biggest
lot.
one, the biggest one right now is letting people know like you can't, like buying a house with like no money, like with $0 in your bank account is not gonna work.
That's not even realistic.
Friend,
You need money. You need
let
money.
me tell you, sometimes I've been on the phone, people call me and I'm just like, here we go. Like, here we go. And
Yeah.
it's, you know, breaking that mental idea of it, right? Now, granted, some people do things differently. Some people will call it creative financing and things like that. But at the end of the day, depending on what you're doing, like you're gonna have to, if you're a traditional, like I'm buying this house, like let's say you're buying this house for you and your daughter, right? Like this is your house, right?
Yeah.
You're probably gonna have a home inspection. You may have a down payment. Like you may have had some monies. Even if you do get like the first time home buyers assistance program, that's great. But you also have to meet a certain income, and you have all these other things here.
Everyone's situation is different. So like
Everyone.
just because one person didn't have to necessarily bring money to the table does not mean that's your situation.
Right. I be trying to tell people. Let me see. The other one is that the one thing I tell people is I personally don't just hop up and go show a house, right? If you call me and say, hey, Victoria, I want to go see this house on 123 Main Street, I'm not going to hop up out my chair and go show you a house. I'm like, okay, that's great. So let's have a conversation. Like, let's talk about it. Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you been pre-approved? Have you talked to a lender? Like, do you know anything about buying a house? No. Okay, so I'm not going to hop up and go show you this house. One.
Yeah.
Because I need for you to be well informed. And a lot of people like choose not to, or they don't want to go with a lender, right? They want to go house shopping first and then get their financing. Well, that doesn't work.
You don't know what you can afford. How are you going shopping? You don't know how much money you have. Wait a minute.
That's like buying $500 worth of groceries and you only got $300 in the bank. What do you think is going to happen to your car when you get to the end of the Walmart cashier line? It's not going to work.
They're looking crazy.
Right. So there's that, right? Um, Also at the same time, it's just one of the other big things that I run across is like, unfortunately, people lie.
Okay.
And
What are they lying
I,
about? Because
you
they
said
do
what?
a very, I said, what do they lie about? Because they do like a very thorough
Everything.
like background on
Yes.
everything. So how do you, I don't even understand.
So like, so one thing I tell my buyers is I'm like, hey, if you're in that market for buying a house, don't give no one your social. You keep that to yourself until we sign the closing documents. And then you can go put your furniture on credit. You can go buy that new car. But in the meantime,
Don't do anything.
don't do anything. Right. And I tell people all the time, don't swipe your credit cards. Don't do this. Like, and they still do it. Or don't move large cash of money. Right.
What is
Or
a large amount of money? Because that one, like when I was going through the process, I was like, what? What?
so like, if you move like $700, they're gonna be like,
yeah,
where you get the money from? Where it come from? Like, what's happening? Um, you can't get a loan for your down payment, right? So let's say that you're buying a house and your mom is gonna give you your down payment money. Well, your mom can't go get a $10,000 loan from the bank and then give you $10,000 for your down payment, because your lender is going to ask for their bank statement.
Yeah.
And on the bank statement, if it sees Langley Federal Credit Union deposit of $10,000 and it's from a loan, they're going to reject that. And then you're going to have to now find your $10,000 for down payment. So it's the line, or it's, if sometimes we can, we call it creative financing. If a buyer is getting a credit card paid off at closing, don't use his credit card because we're using this payoff number on your statement, right?
Okay.
That lady went out and she went shopping on it. And I was like, ma'am,
why?
Why'd you use your card? And she's like, oh, well, yeah, we're gonna pay it off anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It looks so irresponsible.
I was like, no, it does matter. It does matter. And yeah, I think one of the other big things is right now, I'm having a really strong conversation with clients, sellers, and buyers. And I'm just like, do you really want to buy this house? Do you really want to sell your house? Because right now, what I'm seeing is a lot of people are walking away. They're getting really scared. They're getting really nervous. And unfortunately, they're listening to someone who's not educated in the field of real estate. And one thing I try to tell people is that, as agents, we do live off commission. Yeah. So if that house doesn't close, we don't get paid. So, if I'm working with a client for 6 months, helping them with their credit, making sure they get their financing together, helping them buy a house, and then you're 2 weeks away from closing and you just get really nervous and you decide you want to walk away. Well, I've literally worked for the past 6 months for free.
Yeah.
And that's a really just hard realization. Like, people have kids, people have families, people are relying on this. People are relying on this to pay their bills, their water, their gas, their car notes, and things like that. And that's why, honestly, a lot of agents will have like dual businesses. Okay. Or will have dual jobs, because if someone decides they want to back out or walk away, we have to make sure that we can still like afford like our house, right? And take care of yourself. Afford our cars. So I think like those are like my biggest, I wouldn't say discrepancies, but those are like my biggest things. And it's just the understanding, like we're humans too. Like we're not robots. Yeah. I know the market is moving really fast, but we're getting to you as soon as we can. We may have other people. And I just really try to be honest with people all up front. Like, hey, if you text me, if I'm talking to someone or if I'm in a meeting, everyone's gonna get the same respect. So as soon as I get a moment, I'll text you back. Yeah. But just give me a little bit. Like I'll message you back, but just give me a moment
to do that. Yeah. So like with everything going on, like right now the market is like pretty good. I know like when I was going through the process, like there were so many offers on houses. I didn't realize how emotional this process would be.
It is, like, girl. It'll pull on your heartstrings.
Yes, it really was. It was way more emotional than I ever thought I would be for homeowners. I just didn't I did not think I would literally be in tears. Like, no, that's my house.
Yep.
Gone. Okay. But
Yes.
so when situations like that happen and it falls through, or maybe the homeowner or potential homeowner kind of steps away, like what motivates you to still like, okay, I'm gonna still get up and still keep going. I'm gonna still do this.
September was trying. I'm not gonna say that right now. September, I was this close to quitting all of it. I was like, I'm gonna go get me a 9 to 5. I'm over it. What motivates me is seeing my clients at the closing table crying.
Yeah.
Thinking that they can never do this, right? Those first generation homeowners is what motivates me. Those families, I've had parents sell their house, they'll downsize their house to buy a smaller house to give their kids money for their down payment.
Wow.
That's what motivates me. Seeing people going out here and creating generational wealth, right? Truly saying like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is my first time doing it. And I want to, live in this house for a little bit and then turn into a rental. Or, I'm just trying to figure it out for me and my family. Like, no one's ever owned a house before, or people have owned them and they've unfortunately lost them. That's what keeps me going. Yeah. What keeps me going is knowing that not only that, but what I'm doing also supports my future family. What keeps me going is knowing that I have a team and I have people relying on me on payroll for me to keep going. Right. So I gotta keep going. Right. But that's really what it is, because some people really don't think that they can do it. And when you're sitting there and they're crying at that table, most of the time I start crying with them and I'm just like, excuse me, I got a little something in my eye. But
it's emotional.
It's emotional. And even in the hard times, like, I know I'm fighting for what's right for my people, right? Whether it's something you want to do or you don't want to do, like, I'm a fight for you every single day. As much as it's up to the law. Now let's make that correct. Up to the law. Right? I'm
making sure you stay legal so you can keep your job.
Right. But I mean, it's touchy. It really does touches the heart. So that's why I do it every day.
So you've also brought up how it creates generational wealth. So how does home ownership create generational wealth for especially like Black community? How does that create generational wealth for us?
So it's twofold things, right? I think it creates generational wealth when you actually understand it, right? People saying, hey, I'm out here creating generational wealth, but what is that truly, right? Are you using this to create a rental portfolio? Are you using it you want to pass down your house from you down to your kids? A lot of times that's what people are talking about. They're talking about passing their house down from themselves to their kids. But also at the same time, I always tell people, well, let's bring your kids in this. Like, let's involve them in the process so they understand what it is. Yeah. I've also sold houses to where, unfortunately, grandma and grandpa passed away, and I got 3 people to satisfy to sell this house, so therefore they can all get a cut. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so sometimes they want to take that and they may want to go out and buy another property, or they may want to go out and flip properties and things like that. But understanding where that comes from and understanding how that process works. In the Black community right now, like, it's really big. Like, wholesaling is really big, creating generational wealth, flipping, but it's also having the understanding of what that looks like, right? I think sometimes it's like a fad, because people say they want to do it, but are you really taking the right steps to do it, right? Are you really, sometimes buying a $500,000 house is not creating generational wealth, because God forbid if you pass away, does your family have the means to pay for that house?
Take care of it, right?
Right. Is your life insurance going to cover that? And do you understand what it means to buy a house, right? Breaking those things down, seeing what it looks like from the financial piece. you
Yeah.
know? And it's rough because there's a lot of people out here doing really good things with real estate, and I see them doing it. But also at the same time, what confuses me is, and I'm not, I like to have a good time, right? But, they'll say that, hey, I made $40,000 off this house. That's great. But are you taking that money and buying another house? Like showing that to people,
That
right?
process.
Because a lot of time, right, you'll see people make the $40,000 off the house, but you won't see how much they had to pay in taxes. But you won't see how much they had to put aside for their family to live for the next 6 months in case they don't buy and flip another house
or something. Yeah.
Right.
That's a good
what
point.
They don't, but what they see is them on Instagram on a boat.
Yeah.
On Instagram on the island, right? Traveling, doing all these other things. So
in that case, that's not creating the generational wealth. That's making the money and blowing it. In that case, unless you're doing that where you like you said, they're putting it aside. We're just not seeing that necessarily.
Right. And it's just, it's okay to talk about those things too. And then just being more vocal about how are you taking this house and creating a generation, right? Are you buying the house, flipping it, or are you buying the house and getting a refinancing it, turning into a rental, and then buying another one, right? Are you truly creating the system so therefore when your kids get of age to have a job and to run a business and things like that, are you really giving them the tools they need to be successful? So it's those different situations that we run into.
Is that something that you're also working on right now? Is kind of having some type of real estate portfolio to create generational wealth as well?
So yes, we are, but at the same time, we're military. So we move a lot, right? And also in the midst of trying to start a family, like it's one of those things to where for me and my household, it's something that we want to do, but right now it doesn't make sense for us to do it, right? And I have helped other people do it, right? I have clients right now who are in the military who are like, look, Victoria, I need this house to be a good rental when I move in 3 years. Okay, well, let's put you in a good location, right?
Yeah.
These are the areas that have rents at this amount. So now I'm not just looking at you buying a house. I'm looking at also the areas that have rentals and what the rentals are right now in that area. And, is the profit margins large enough for you to do that? Right. And building out those pieces and just having those conversations. I think the hardest thing is that people don't want to have financial conversations with somebody that they just met.
We have to.
So that's the only way I can help
you. God. Yeah. We have to have those conversations and be transparent because otherwise we don't know. We assume. And a lot of times that's wrong when we're assuming. That's usually wrong.
Right. And let me tell you something. I am never afraid to pick up a phone and shoot a text message and ask someone a question because I know I don't know everything. Like my lenders, I will text them in 5 seconds. So what about this? Because I don't know. Right? Because things are changing so much, and that's just also not my lane. My lane is here.
And that's what you were talking about earlier, operating in your strengths.
Yep.
And letting other people do that.
Right. This is their space. I'm going to stay within my space. So yes.
Okay, awesome. So as we start to wrap up, I do want to ask you just a couple of questions in terms of where you see yourself going. It may or may not be here because you're, in the military lane, right?
Right.
But where do you see yourself in like 5 to 10 years? What do you envision with your life?
I definitely envision myself being a mama. Yay. So let me start by saying that. In the next 5 to 10 years, wow, that's a big one. So we'll definitely be in the next 10 years, we'll definitely be like at our retirement home, right? My husband will be out the Army. Thank of the Lord.
Yes.
I mean, it's been good. It's been real good to us, right? Please continue to still be good. But I'm also tired of moving every 3 years. So there's that. I do envision having a real estate school. So like right now I do teach new agents, and I envision having like my own real estate school where I can teach new agents coming through, and also providing them the training, the education that they need to educate their clients, right? Because that's still like a huge thing that's not happening. the market's moving so fast. Agents are like, call this number, get your pre-approved letter, call me back, let me know. No, we need to take a second and really talk to these people. And then eventually like having like my own brokerage and being able to bring in agents and teach them in the way that I wish I was taught.
I like that.
So yeah.
Yes, that's exciting. Well, I can't wait to see this. It's going to happen. I'm excited to see that. Yes. So my last question is, every experience, because I had more than one realtor when I was looking for my house, and the last one, she's just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Oh, that's great.
My question is, because every realtor creates a different experience, right?
Yes.
So what makes you different, and what is typically the experience you like to create for your potential home buyers?
I want them to be comfortable, right? I want them to know that they can come to me with those hard questions, and I'm not going to hurt your feelings. I want them to know that like there's no such thing as a stupid question. You don't do this every day, and that's okay, right? It's okay for you to come to me and for you to talk to me about it. The other thing, I treat everyone like they're my family, like they're my brother or sister. Like, let's figure this out. Like, what are we gonna do, right? And making sure that they're taken care of. The one thing I always ask people is, what is your end game? What's your end game?
Yeah. And
they always be like, well, what do you mean? Like, what does this house do for you and your family? Right? Like, is this a house you're only going to be in for a few years? Like, what is the end game with this purchase? Because if I know that, then I know how to help you at the beginning. If I don't know where you want to end, then I don't know how to help you. And I like tailoring each experience to that person, right? If I have someone who's super bubbly, the way they're going to take information is going to be different than my super analytical people who are taking things very like, right? Like for them, I have to label 1, 2, 3, X, you know what I'm saying? Do the chart, do all that, right? And so I like creating an experience for that person that fits them. Because I realize what fits you is not going to fit the next person, and what fits me is not going to fit the next person.
Yes.
So if I need to be like that super fun, bubbly person, or if I need to be that like strong, black and white, like this is that, right, person, then that's fine. Everyone's just different. And I wish that some agents would remember that, right? And even with talking to people, yes, have I had to kind of put boundaries up? Absolutely. But I still want people to feel comfortable. You felt comfortable enough to pick up the phone and call me. And I want you to feel comfortable enough every single moment, even after this transaction, to still pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a life-changing experience. So yes, the type of relationship you guys have is so important during that process. Because like we mentioned earlier, it's emotional.
It is. Let me say something. And I tell you all the time, like we purchase houses, and every time we purchase them, like my emotions are through the roof. And I'm just like, I help people with this every day, and I can't even help myself. Okay.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy. I literally, when I finally moved in, I literally started crying. I was like, why am I crying? But then everything, you start reflecting, and just like you were mentioning earlier, I did not think as a single mom, I would be able to buy my own house by myself. I did not think that. Like, I just didn't think that. So when it actually came, I was like, oh, I did this. Okay.
Right. And you did. And like everyone can do it. You may have to crack down for a little bit, but you did it.
It's the education piece.
Absolutely.
Like you said, educating the potential home buyers or those interested so that they know like where their numbers are, like you mentioned earlier, knowing that it is possible. But I think a lot of times we're not familiar with the process, and we just assume because we see stuff on social media or we hear stuff, and we don't know the facts. So so true. So true.
So true. I just want to give people the knowledge I have in my brain. Like if I can give this and it can help you help the next person or someone else, like that's what matters to me at the end of the day.
Yes. I love that. I love that. It's important that they're educated going into the process and having that relationship along the way with you. as well. So thank you so much for today. I had such a good time.
Yes, me too.
Such a good time. We had a good conversation. I learned some things. Okay.
Yes, it's like two friends just sitting here chit chat.
Yes, we got to go back to brunch so we can try some other things. So
I love a good snack. So I'm here for it.
Me too. That's my problem. I love a good snack.
Absolutely.
Yes. So how can people get in contact with you or stay connected with you?
So they can always reach out to me on Instagram. It's Victoria Bailey Realtor on Instagram, or they can always give me a call. It's 757-472-7355, or shoot me a text. And I'll say it to them. If you message me, you call me, you text me, and I don't answer, please give me a little bit of grace. Because I'm probably on the other line or in a meeting, but I will definitely get back to you. I just need a little bit of grace. That's
boundaries. Yes. You are not available 24/7, but you will return the call.
I will return the call. And if I felt like it's been too long, my buyer's agent, Shakira, she'll reach out to you and she'll say, hey, I got your contact information from Victoria. You gave her a call. How can we help you?
Yes, customer service.
Yes, girl. Look, I feel like, I tell people all the time, like, it's hard. It's hard being an entrepreneur, a business owner, because we are our own marketing. We're our accountants. We are everything, right? And so having that strong team, and I'm so thankful for her on my side, is everything. So yeah.
Yay. Yes. Well, thank you so much for today. And I'm just excited for everyone to take a listen and hear all the great information you shared today.
Yes, this was fun. I'm glad I saw your announcement.
Yes, I was like, yes, and it filled up. I think I have December now, but October filled up like immediately. November filled up, and then I opened up December and January, and then January filled up, and now December is open. So I don't know what happened. Everyone skipped past December. I guess we're taking December off the holiday.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for this platform to be able to talk and chat and be comfortable. Thank you so much for this.
You're so welcome. And I feel like we need like a girl chat now. a girl chat combo.
I'm always down for a good one. I talk a lot, so it'll work for me.
Works out.